All right, today we're going to talk about the most overlooked landlord quality. But before we begin, I want to encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We produce a lot of landlord-friendly content, and we want to make sure that you are getting notified when we do. I believe this is probably the most important aspect of being a landlord. I've been a landlord for almost 15 years, and I can promise you that early on in my career, this is something I neglected, and I think a lot of new and rookie landlords neglect, but they shouldn't. So the number one overlooked landlord quality is having a trusted and licensed and insured maintenance team to work with. Now, this is something at the very beginning I didn't put a lot of stock in. As a matter of fact, what I was interested in doing was finding the cheapest work that I could possibly get done, because I wanted to make sure that all of my rental income wasn't being eaten up with repairs and maintenance. Now, that makes sense, and I completely understand that, but over the long term, in those early days, and I'm talking back in 2005 and 2006 and 2007, that really actually hurt me more than it helped me. And so I'm gonna explain to you probably the 5 best reasons why you should seriously consider having your maintenance people be licensed and insured. Anyone who works on your house should be licensed and insured. The number one reason is the quality of repair. Now, this is something I realized early on, is that I could find people to do very cheap work, and they could get in and get out and take care of it. And these were, I like to call them chucking a truck, right? So it was like one person in a truck, and they weren't licensed and insured, and they were just out looking for work. And I would see them working on a house. I would stop by and ask them to come work on my house, and they would do it. But the quality of repair was not really there. And so what happens? Well, that becomes a problem later down the road. Now, this could be 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Regardless, it is a pain in the neck. Not only is it a pain in the neck to you as a landlord, but really to your resident. If they're running into the same problem, they're expecting you to fix it. And if you're not fixing it, then that's not going to be a good impression that you're leaving on them. And you've got to think about this relationship, because you want this resident, if they're a good resident, you want them to renew that lease and stay in there longer. And so the quality of repair is really important. And what we've realized is that with licensed and insured maintenance technicians, they are going to do quality work. They're looking for repeat business. As a matter of fact, on our team at Evernest, we have people on our staff that we tell them exactly, hey, here's the house you're gonna go work on. They're part of our team. They're all licensed and insured. We think that the quality of work is better than somebody who's really not gonna take the time and the expense to get the needed insurance and certificates and set up a formal shop. So we would just encourage you to make sure that your people are licensed and insured for the quality of the work. The second point here is you wanna make sure that there is some type of liability protection. When you have somebody with the proper licensing and the proper insurance, then this is going to be better for you as a landlord. If something happens at that property, there's going to be a level of protection there for you. However, if you just send chucking a truck out there and they end up fixing something and somebody gets injured, somebody hurts themselves, and they're not licensed and insured, well, guess what? That's going to come back on you as the landlord. Now, it may be cheaper in the front end to hire that person at a very small hourly rate, but it could end up really being a bigger expense to you if something goes wrong at that property. I have spoken with plenty of landlords who have done some pretty cheap fixes for their investment properties, and then when something happens, they're really shocked by it. Like, let's say they fixed a railing and then the railing falls and somebody ends up getting injured, falls off a deck or something. They're really shocked, but they shouldn't be shocked, because when you hire really cheap labor, then sometimes your quality is not great, and you open yourself up to some liability that you don't really need to. The third reason why you should hire licensed and insured maintenance technicians is really because of the resident experience. You have to understand that these people that are going into the home are an extension of you. Even if you're just hiring a reputable company in town, they're ultimately an extension reflection of you, because the resident is trusting you to fix this property. And so anybody that you send out into their home is absolutely going to represent you. And the way that they handle themselves in the home and the way that these people interact with your resident, take care of the problem, it's really either going to help or hurt your relationship with that resident. If they come out and do some really crummy work and have to be called out there again, or if they're rude, or if they're not professional, if they show up in a truck and they don't have any kind of identifying shirt or truck or anything like that, and it seems kind of sketchy, that's not going to really help you win that resident over. You want to make sure that somebody's out there that's reputable, that they look like they have done this before, they look like they know what they're doing, and that the interaction with them in the home is very, very professional. That's going to help you keep that resident over the long term, because they are an extension of you in how they treat and interact with that resident. The fourth thing I would say is a lot of really great contractors or maintenance technicians will give you some type of warranty or some type of guarantee on their work. I know here at Evernest, we have a 12-month warranty on all of our work. So if we go out there and fix something at your property, we warranty that work for 12 months. Like if we fixed a sink and then the sink broke again in 8 months, we would go back out and fix that issue without charging you. A lot of very, very reputable maintenance techs or contractors will do the same thing. They might offer you a warranty or some type of guarantee on your work. That's another reason you should definitely hire licensed and insured maintenance techs. And then lastly, the fifth reason I would say you would need to hire licensed and insured maintenance techs is just the protection of the asset. This is very, very important to you. And now, when I say the word asset, you probably immediately think of the property. I think of the property as well, but I also think of the resident. I think both of them are really your asset. It's not just the house sitting there, it is the house with the resident in there. And when you have a great team working on your property, they're keeping the resident happy, they actually have eyes on the property so they can report to you if anything else needed to be fixed, and they're gonna do the right work and make sure that property is in pristine condition so that when you do get ready to sell it in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to sell an asset that is actually worth something, so that the property increased in value, that your tenancy was great, you had a fantastic relationship with your residents, and to me, that's the protection of the asset, both the property and the resident. Those are the 5 biggest reasons I think you should use licensed and insured technicians. If we can ever help you at Evernest, we would love to do that. We only use licensed and insured technicians, so reach out to us at sales@evernest.co and somebody will be back in touch with you. Or if you want a rental analysis, just click the link below this video, fill out the form, we'll get that to you, and you can see maybe what your home would rent for on the market. Again, subscribe to our channel and we'll be back with more landlord-friendly content soon.